Hello Tigers, and welcome to the TMNtv Newscast for Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. Stay tuned for the latest news at Fort Hays State University and around Northwest Kansas and the nation. I am Lauren Davis, and Jenna Hawley will be here shortly with a look at what's going on around the globe, and Haley White will fill you in on what's happening in the sports world. But first, here's what's making news in Tigerland. It will be a new day in Kansas soon, and it will be led by Democrat Laura Kelly. Kelly won Tuesday's general election in the Kansas governor's race, beating Republican Chris Kobach and Independent Greg Orman. Kelly, a longtime legislator, received 48% of the vote, with Kobach at 43%, and Orman with only 7%. The race was predicted to be close, but results from the larger metropolitan area of Kansas pushed Kelly to the win. Kobach carried most of the rural areas of the state. In the big first district for the U.S. House Republican incumbent, Roger Marshall easily defeated Alan LaFelice 68% to 32%. The race for the 111th district in the Kansas House wasn't decided Tuesday night after early election results came in. Democratic incumbent Eber Phelps trailed Republican Barb Wasinger by only 40 votes, but nearly 200 provisional ballots still needed to be counted, as well as a handful of advance ballots. It was not known whether those ballots not counted yet would figure into the final results. Advance ballots postmarked by Tuesday and received by the county by Friday still can be counted. Early results showed Phelps with a slight lead over Wasinger, but that began to shift as more results were tallied. The race could be decided by the mail-in and provisional ballots. In the race for a spot on the Ellis County Commission, Robert Butch Schleier maintained his momentum from a primary victory to win Tuesday's general election. Schleier racked up 43% of the vote, while Chris Rorabaugh was second with 34%. John Waltz earned 23%. Schleier, a former county health administrator, beat incumbent Marcy McClelland in the primary earlier this year. Results won't become official until votes are canvassed next week. The university will be hosting hundreds of high school juniors and seniors as well as transfer students on Saturday as part of Tiger Day. It will be a recruiting event sponsored by the admissions staff and give many future Tigers a look at campus and what FHSU has to offer. The event is from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The day concludes with the home FHSU football game at 2. The Hays USD 489 Board of Education voted Thursday to end the 4.6% raise given to some employees of the district in July. The district had budgeted 4.6% raises across the board for all employees, and some staff began receiving the increase a few months ago. But the board discovered an accounting error and later noticed they never officially voted on giving raises to staff. Teachers and the board are at an impasse on current negotiations about a potential raise for the year, because they also wanted to receive the same percentage of a raise as others had. The district has offered teachers a 3.2% raise. Those employees who will lose their recent raise will not be forced to pay back the extra money they've already received in paychecks. A woman was arrested Sunday in Topeka in connection with a fire at a nursing home. Officials say Tamisha Brown started the fire intentionally at Providence Living Center. Fire crews evacuated the building and put out the fire. No one was injured and the investigation continues. A Wichita brewery is working this month to help teachers with school supplies. Central Standard Brewing is teaming with Project Teacher and hosting Pints for Pencils each Tuesday. For every pint of beer sold on Tuesday in November, the brewery donates $1 to Project Teacher, which helps put resources in classrooms in Wichita. 20% of merchandise sold on Tuesdays at the brewery also goes to the project. Since Project Teacher launched 4 years ago, it has helped put $5 million into local classrooms. Wichita State University is hoping students support a proposed fee increase to help finance $38 million in campus upgrades. Part of the money would be used to build a new business school on its innovative campus, and classrooms and other buildings would receive upgrades as well. The current WSU campus infrastructure fee is $6 per credit hour, and officials are hoping students support raising that number to $12 per credit hour for at least 20 years. A vote by students could come in March. Those are the stories making headlines in our region this week. After we return from this short break, Jenna will be here with a look at what's happening around the globe.
5, 4, 3, 2, Take it.
The Tiger Media Network is Fort Hays State University's independent student media organization. It's a student employment opportunity where you can work for either the news side or the sports side. So you can be on live sports production, which produces all of the live sports broadcasts that we do, or you could be on the news side and do news stories covering things on campus, so presidential announcements, student government association. We bring that news to the student community and the Hays community as well.
You don't realize how much Fort Hays State has to offer until you're here.
I mean, it is definitely, this is a land of opportunity here.
I just got back from the MIAA tournament in Kansas City a couple weeks ago where we worked with other production crews including Pitt State and Central Missouri. And it's a great time. I've gone there the last couple of years.
For me anyway, I get to do sports, which is what I love. And if live productions is where that's at.
This is the perfect place to do it. We have almost everything that you could possibly imagine.
Tiger Media Network allows you the opportunity to take the skills you've learned and put them forward in a real world, real application setting that allows you to flourish and grow as a professional, and that will only help you and benefit you when you graduate and go into the real world workforce.
Hello Tigers, I'm Jenna Hawley and here's what's going on around the globe. Saudi Arabia's human rights record has been called into question. Many delegations have condemned the country and its views on freedom of opinion. According to Al Jazeera, several countries are questioning Saudi's Human Rights Council after the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Several reports have highlighted the country's discriminatory laws still in effect. Abdulaziz Al-Moyad, a Saudi human rights activist, has stated that the Saudi government doesn't care about the Saudi people, but they care about international relations. They get their weapons from there. They get their support from there. A major point in questioning of Saudi Arabia's human rights record is the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The journalist was murdered last month in the consulate in Istanbul. According to BBC, the accounts of what really happened has wavered. Saudi officials have stated that Khashoggi left the consulate alive before dying in a fistfight. The death was then described as premeditated and a result of a rogue operation. Khashoggi was a critic of the Saudi government. He once worked as an advisor to the royal family but fell out of favor last year with the government. He had been living in the United States and working for the Washington Post before his death. According to the Tribune News Service, Russia missed the deadline to swear off using chemical weapons, possibly leading to new sanctions. The State Department said Russia didn't live up to the 1991 law requiring it to assure the U.S. and others it no longer will use chemical or biological weapons. The country also must allow inspections to verify the claims. U.S. officials have said there is no timeline to determine if possible sanctions will be brought against Russia. Hold the cheese and the lawsuit. A federal court in Miami dismissed a lawsuit claiming McDonald's overcharged customers who ordered quarter pounders without cheese, charging them the full price of a burger with cheese. McDonald's said if the ruling sided with the plaintiffs, it would force restaurants to reduce menu item prices to reflect what a customer decides to hold or delete as an ingredient. The two plaintiffs said that the business was negligent in failing to give a discount for a cheeseless burger. The judge said the claim that McDonald's violated antitrust laws was absurd and a failure. A security guard at a Florida high school peddled with drugs while in uniform, authorities said. Jamie Green was arrested and charged with multiple counts of cocaine and marijuana dealing. Officials allege he was doing drug deals at a gas station near the school. He was not accused of dealing to students, although investigators are still looking into the situation. Police have stepped in at Duke University after a swastika was found carved into a pumpkin on campus this past Halloween. This was one of two racially charged incidents called in at Duke that night, and the fourth reported incident of 2018. University Vice President Michael Schoenfield condemned the actions, calling the community to stand up to hate and bigotry. He would also go on to apologize for a campus culture marred by recent racially charged incidents. That's what is happening in the news world this week. Stay tuned for a sports update with Haley White when we return.
I think there's a perception out there that web and mobile application development is this field where you sit behind a computer all day and code. And that's not it at all, right? And there's even a perception out there that geek is bad. But I think students should embrace their inner geek. We don't code all day. We look at issues, we look at problems, and try to figure out the pieces of the puzzle and how to put them together to build things.
I was able to learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS, PHP, just kind of the whole 9 yards with that. So I really enjoyed the full program that they offered here.
Anything that you're interested in, the field of web and mobile application development, there's a value to. There's nothing like what we have in the informatics department. If you choose to take everything in the buffet that we offer, you'll be very well prepared for any type of job opportunity that's out there.
Welcome back to TMNtv. I'm Haley White, bringing you a sports update. FHSU football kept its MIAA title hopes alive in Bearcat Stadium on Saturday with a 17-16 win over Northwest Missouri State for the second straight year. With his first start of the season, quarterback Chance Fuller finished with 240 passing yards, completing 22 of 35 attempts. Tigers Harley Hazlett and Lane Bieberly became the playmakers of the game, finishing with a combined 192 receiving yards. The Tiger defense was able to hold the potent Bearcat offense to only 178 yards and just 1 first down during the first half. Leading Fort Hays with 10 tackles against Northwest, senior linebacker Jose Delgado earned MIAA Defensive Athlete of the Week honors. With the team's impressive efforts during the 17-16 win over the Bearcats, it moved up to number 5 in the third release of the NCAA Super Region 3 rankings. The Tigers also jumped back into AFCA rankings, currently sitting at number 22. FHSU seeks a second conference championship Saturday on Senior Day in Lewis Field as the Tigers take on Northeastern State, who has yet to win a game this season. During this week's press conference, defensive lineman Sterling Swopes, offensive lineman Romello Burke, and head coach Chris Brown discussed what they hope to end their regular season on Saturday.
I feel like we have more to show. I feel like it's still people that we just need to step up more, and as soon as we get that, we just going that's when our peak is on. But I feel like we're improving every week though, for sure.
We start even before practice. Now we have walkthroughs before the practice even start, going over plays for a good 30 minutes before practice even start, warm-ups before warm-ups and all. So I think everybody's looking at it more serious than as we was in the beginning, because we know everybody know we MIAA champions, but at the same time we still got to hold up to a standard, So everything right now is looking at what can we do right now and to better ourselves in the long run.
The guy that actually took over is kind of a special teams guy and defensive backs coach. So I don't see him changing much. I mean, I'm watching last game, it's the same thing they did in the previous week. So, but you never know. This is the last game of the year. Who knows what the team's going to come in here and do to try to knock you off? That's what they're going to try to do, is try to knock us out of the playoffs and knock us out of the chance to win the conference championship. So we got to be prepared for everything. I'm sure there's going to be some trick plays and different alignments that we haven't seen. So we just got to lock in and do our job and do our assignments. And if we see something that we don't like or feel kind of worried about, we're going to use our timeouts. So it's just being smart and figuring out what they're doing to us early and trying to stop it.
With 2 late goals in the match, FHSU men's soccer ended conference play with a perfect record. The Tigers beat the University of Mary 2-0 with both goals netted in the final 5 minutes of play. With 1 goal and 1 assist during Saturday's contest, Abdoulaye Cisse was named the MIAA Men's Soccer Co-Athlete of the Week. Fort Hays finished regular season with a 15-2-1 overall record and 8-0 in the MIAA. During the NCAA D2 Soccer Tournament Selection Show, the Tigers earned the number 1 seed in the Central Region, where they will host the number 2 seed Northeastern State in the Central Regional Final. More details on the NCAA Super Regional in Hays will become available as soon as the game times are set and the teams representing the Midwest region are determined this weekend. The number 4 seeded FHSU women's soccer team was eliminated by the number 1 seed Central Oklahoma, falling to the Broncos 3-0 in the MIAA semifinals match. The Tigers end their 2018 season 11-7-2 overall. FHSU volleyball in their regular season finale and senior day with a loss to Missouri Western in 3 sets. Although the Tigers grabbed the opening set, the Griffins ultimately capitalized on the loss and rallied to steal the victory in Hays. The Tigers wrap up the regular season under first-year head coach Jessica Wood Atkins, 8-22 overall and 2-16 in MIAA play. FHSU cross country had an impressive performance during the 2018 MIAA Cross Country Championship Saturday in Emporia, as the men finished in 3rd place and the women ended the day in the 5th spot. The Tigers will return to the course in 2 weeks when they travel to Joplin, Missouri for the NCAA Division II Central Region Championships on November 17th. Fort Hays women's basketball had yet a stellar performance during exhibition play in Manhattan on Thursday, falling to Kansas State by a single basket. The Tigers obtained the lead during the majority of the game, but the Wildcats ultimately rallied to top the Tigers 48-46 in Bramlage. TMN's Russell Heitman provided footage of Thursday's matchup.
Manhattan, Kansas was the second exhibition stop for the FHSU women's basketball team this week, as the Tigers took on Kansas State on Thursday. It was a homecoming game of sorts for a pair of Tigers, junior forward Lainey Page and redshirt sophomore Madison Mitty. Mitty is the daughter of head coach of the Wildcats Jeff Mitty and a native of Manhattan, while Page played her first 2 seasons of college ball at Kansas State before transferring to Fort Hays. The reunion was competitive for all parties involved, as FHSU pushed its 2nd Division I opponent to the brink before eventually falling 48-46. Fort Hays State led for the majority of the contest and even built a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. But a late push from Kansas State, bolstered by a 55-40 rebounding advantage, helped the Wildcats overcome the Tigers. FHSU head coach Tony Hobson applauds his team for adapting to a lower-scoring contest after their shootout in Lawrence earlier this week, as well as how well they are playing at this stage of the year, especially on the road.
I just think it says a lot about our personnel that we can play different styles and survive. We don't have to score 83 to be in games. The fact that we're in these games on the road at this time of the year is a testament, I think, to how good we can be if we have some things go our way.
Tatiana Leggett provided the scoring punch for FHSU on Thursday after being held to just 5 points against KU. Leggett led all scorers with 14 points and pulled down 11 rebounds, her 2nd double-digit rebounding effort in as many games.
T can do that on any given night, and tonight she could see, and I told her, I says, hey, we're struggling a little bit from the perimeter. They're up on us, they're big, we can't shoot over them. You need to take it to the basket. If you get blocked, big deal, just make something happen. And she played with a lot of energy, and she was really, really great on the boards.
The Tigers had a chance to win or tie with 9 seconds remaining. However, Taylor Rolfs couldn't get a shot off against the lengthier Kansas State defense. FHSU opens their regular season at home Friday against Southwest Minnesota State. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 p.m. from Gross Memorial Coliseum. This is Russell Heitman, Tiger Media Network.
The Tigers open up regular season play Friday. With no preseason contest, the men will tip off in front of the public for the first time Friday in Marshall, Minnesota against Sioux Falls at 4 p.m. The women will stay behind and tip the regular season off against Southwest Minnesota State at 7 p.m. inside Gross Memorial Coliseum. That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of TMN TV. As always, to stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com. Until then, remember, roar Tigers.